Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. When the news first broke, it felt like the kind of headline you'd scroll past thinking it was clickbait. Tyreek Hill wants out of Miami. No way. Not that Tyreek Hill. Not the guy who single-handedly put fear into the heart of secondaries every Sunday. Not the centerpiece of one of the most electrifying offenses in the NFL. Surely this was just some off-season noise. But as more insiders confirmed the whispers and as cryptic tweets from Hill himself started to surface, it became undeniable. Something serious was brewing down in South Beach. And now the whispers have turned into roars. Tyreek Hill could be leaving the Dolphins. And not just leaving. He could be headed to one of their biggest rivals. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't just about a trade. It's not just about cap space or locker room disagreements. This is Tyreek Hill, the cheetah himself, reportedly eyeing a move. That would shake up the entire AFC landscape. If the reports are accurate, Hill is entertaining offers from teams that don't just compete with the Dolphins, they hate the Dolphins. And that's not hyperbole. We're talking about organizations with deep-rooted rivalries, playoff scars, and generational grudges. Hill potentially joining one of them. It's the kind of storyline that would make even the most seasoned NFL fan raise an eyebrow. Now, before diving into the chaos this could unleash, let's back up and look at how we got here. Tyreek Hill was traded to the Dolphins in 2022 in what was then considered a blockbuster move. Miami gave up a haul of draft picks to land him, and he instantly transformed their offense. With Hill stretching the field, defenses had no choice but to back off, which opened up lanes for Jalen Waddle, created mismatches for Mike McDaniel to exploit, and gave Tua Tagovailoa a reliable safety valve and a deep threat in one deadly package. For 2 seasons, Hill delivered exactly what was expected: speed, separation, stats. But apparently behind closed doors, all was not as perfect as it seemed. There have been murmurs, subtle at first, about Hill's growing frustration. Some insiders have suggested that the Dolphins' inability to get over the playoff hump has worn on the star wideout. Despite all their regular season flashes, the team has yet to make a serious postseason run with Hill in uniform. And while he's been vocal in his support of Tua, others believe Hill is eyeing a more stable quarterback situation, one with championship pedigree. Combine that with Miami's increasingly tight salary cap situation and the front office's unwillingness to restructure his deal to the terms he reportedly wants, and suddenly what once looked like a match made in football heaven now feels like a countdown to divorce. But let's get to the bombshell, the rumored destination. Among the suitors circling Tyreek Hill, the one that stands out like a sore thumb because of the chaos it would cause, is the Buffalo Bills. Yes, you heard that right. The Buffalo Bills, Miami's fiercest divisional rival. The team they've battled for AFC East supremacy over the past few years. The team that's humiliated them in the snow, bruised them in brutal winter playoff clashes, and the one franchise whose fan base absolutely relishes every chance to mock the Dolphins. The idea that Tyreek Hill could don that blue and red jersey is enough to make Dolphins fans physically ill. But from a football standpoint, it makes terrifying sense. Imagine Josh Allen with Tyreek Hill. Go ahead, try to picture. Allen's cannon of an arm paired with Hill's breakaway speed would instantly give Buffalo the most explosive QB-WR combo in the league. Stephon Diggs on one side, Tyreek Hill on the other. That's a nightmare for defensive coordinators, and it would signal something even more symbolic. Buffalo isn't just trying to win the AFC East. They're trying to end Miami's dream at the source. This isn't just an arms race. It's warfare. Of course, such a trade would require gymnastics with the cap. But if there's one thing we've learned in recent years, it's that when a player wants out badly enough, teams find a way. And if Buffalo is serious, they'll move heaven and earth to make room for a generational talent like Hill. The question is, would Miami really allow it? Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? On the surface, it seems unthinkable. You don't trade a top 5 wide receiver to a team you see twice a year in games that often decide playoff seedings. You don't arm your enemy with the very weapon that once made you feared. But if the relationship between Hill and the Dolphins front office is truly fractured, if it's beyond repair, then maybe, just maybe, Miami decides to rip off the Band-Aid. Maybe they decide that getting assets back, even from a rival, is better than letting Hill walk for nothing down the line. It wouldn't be the first time a team swallowed its pride in the name of business, but here's where it gets even more dramatic. There are also rumors swirling about the New York Jets. Yeah, the same Jets who've built a defense specifically to stop guys like Hill are the same Jets who brought in Aaron Rodgers to compete immediately, only to see their plans derailed by injury. The idea of giving Rodgers a weapon like Tyreek Hill is almost too wild to comprehend. Miami trading Hill within the division to either Buffalo or New York. It would redefine the word betrayal for Dolphins fans. It would be the kind of decision that gets talked about for decades. And yet from Hill's perspective, it might make sense. He's 30. He's already earned his money. What he wants now is a ring. And if he feels like Miami isn't close enough to deliver it, then he's going to do what so many other stars have done before him. Chase the best possible quarterback, the most complete roster, the clearest path to a Super Bowl. That's the harsh reality in today's NFL. Loyalty is a myth. Emotion is a luxury. This is a business. And Tyreek Hill is a businessman. The fallout, if this goes through, would be immense. Dolphins fans would riot on social media. The locker room would take a hit, not just in production, but in confidence. The league's balance of power would shift. It wouldn't just be a trade. It would be a message, a declaration. The Dolphins had their shot. They couldn't finish the job. Now someone else gets to try. And for Tyreek Hill, he becomes the villain. The heel turn would be swift and brutal. But deep down, you know he wouldn't care. He'd embrace it. Every touchdown he scored in a rival jersey against Miami would be salt in the wound. And you know he'd talk about it on his podcast, flash the peace sign mid-run and lean into the chaos. That's who he is. He's not afraid of controversy. He thrives in it. So as we wait for official confirmation, one thing's clear. This isn't just about football. It's about legacy, about grudges, about power plays. And if Tyreek Hill really leaves the Dolphins for a team like Buffalo or New York, the AFC East won't just be a competitive division, it'll be a battlefield. And you better believe every single one of us will be watching. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.